Sorry, that was hilarious. All right, so and on a more serious note, AOC has apparently applied for the new job in the Democratic Party of testing my patience, and she is in line to get that job because I feel like there are a lot of people who have harshly critiqued AOC. There are a lot of people. I've not been that harsh of a critique of her. My most harsh critique of her was this week. Anytime I've critiqued her as an ally. I've critiqued her in a legitimate way, and I've critiqued her using the facts. The fact is, she's been weak on any type of anti-war issue. She's been weak. She was silent on the Ilhan Omar issue. The only time that she decided to chime in on the Ilhan Omar issue was when Donald Trump commented on it, and then she tried to use that to boost her profile. So basically, it looks like the only time she wants to chime in is when she can get a bunch of retweets and likes from it. And then when she finally did comment on the Ilhan Omar issue, she took it totally out of context. Like, was she already apologized for it, Trump? Okay, but that's not really the issue. She didn't say anything anti-Semitic at all. And this is supposed to be your homie. And if you're not loyal to your homie, I'm already skeptical about how loyal you're going to be to a movement that is, kind of abstract, right? It's not like you can put a face on it. You're not directly connected to it. And if you sitting next to Ilhan Omar and you are that comfortable with basically throwing her under the bus, then I already have a few issues with who you may be as a person. And even though I do think that she's still an ally, and I can't even say for the most part at this point because I'm not even sure of that anymore. It's becoming blatantly obvious. Her ego supersedes her progressivism. 100%. Point blank period. And unfortunately, the more I've been talking to organizers who work directly for her in New York, the more I'm starting to find out that this may very well be true. And it's sad and it's unfortunate because I think that a lot of people, they find hope in what AOC is and they find hope in what she has become. But at the end of the day, boy, you can't say nothing slick to a can of oil. I know how the game is played, AOC. I've been there, I've done that. I know how the game is played. And I know what game you're playing. But this, what I'm about to show you all, is the biggest slap in the face to not only Tulsi Gabbard, but to progressives everywhere, to climate change activists everywhere, to environmentalists everywhere, to the 400 environmental and climate change organizations that endorsed Tulsi Gabbard's Off Act, to progressives everywhere. It is. And let me explain to y'all what I mean. We're about to get it popping. All right, let's go ahead and man, sorry. This is just. Can I get some water first, y'all? I'm gonna drink some water real quick. So, Mike Levin decided to introduce the Zero Emissions Vehicle Act with Jeff Merkley, and it's quote unquote an important step to combat climate change. Now we're not going to get. I want to get into the legislation. I'm going to read the article, but let's just say that this was the best version of this legislation that there could possibly be, right? Let's just say that Mike Levin isn't on the board. What if Fiorella actually commented on this? Shout out to Fiorella. Go follow her on Twitter, Fiorella_IM. Obviously, I know her because she's from the Combo Couch. I saw some of y'all comments. Y'all nasty. You need to keep your comments to yourself. Y'all need to be appropriate. Some of your kids watch our show. They want to see your comments. Anyway, she says, fact. You might not be aware, Congresswoman, but as an AOC fan and a supporter from California, I have to tell you that Levin is not one to praise. Well, why is that, Fiorella? Please educate us. I would love to know why. She says he's known to be a fracking lobbyist. He spent his career doing work for the fossil fuel industry. I'd like to hope he's coming around, but Fee has some more things to talk to us about. On October 27th, right before the presidential election, ExxonMobil and Fuel Cell revealed the location of their pilot carbon program and received $15 million from the Department of Energy. Oh, and Fuel Cell's VP was a featured speaker at the National Coal Council's annual spring meeting. Well, hot damn Bojangle, Fee. Is there some more stuff that we should figure out? I feel like there might be some more things to this. Let's look at what Fee has to say. I feel like Fee has some more stuff to say. Oh, Fee upset. Fee upset. I told y'all this is why we leave the interviews to Craig, because me and Fee, we just ain't really got time for the bullshit. So Fee's upset. She says, but we also need the OFF Act. We need to work together to build real solutions. And fracking, or clean coal, isn't one of them. All of this can be found on the internet if you do research. Ooh, Fee, you getting a little feisty there. Calm down, girl. Ask most Californian progressives, we will tell you the truth. In May of 2016, ExxonMobil took interest in Fuel Cell, and the two companies agreed to collaborate on carbon capture and clean coal development. Donald Trump benefited from this because he spews clean coal as a way to revive the coal industry and bring back American jobs. I'm not here to criticize AOC, but as someone who supported Doug Applegate against Levine, and as an organizer and a grassroots activist in Los Angeles, I don't like to see fake environmentalists praise, especially when we have zero time for it. Our planet is dying. We need a Green New Deal. By the way, unfortunately, most Congress people who won from OC, which is Orange County, who Nancy Pelosi, of course, supported, were Republicans turned Democrats because of the district, but they were definitely not progressives. California is a tough state, but we have a strong movement that will not stay silent when lies abound. One last thing. Oh, I already talked about it. Oh, no, actually, one last thing. This bill is decent, but we need something more radical because, as most of you know, we have 10 years. We are now attempting to curtail the inevitable. The only way to independency on coal and save our planet is to stop giving money to lobbyists and big oil. On October the 20th, hold on. Hold on. Where we at? Oh yeah, here we go. This is the juice. This is the tea right here. Fiorella, listen, y'all. This is the reason I brought her onto the network. Well, for those of you who don't know, one of the requirements to actually have even been considered for the network is to have been an activist. Or you have to be an activist or an organizer just to be in competition. So even the two, we have one of our people coming back. And just really quick, I'll bring my face up. We have one of our people coming back, Niko Dagmon. He was actually just doing some activism work in Tallahassee, Florida. He took a break because he didn't want to fail college to support the movement, and I strongly supported that. And he's an activist as well and an organizer. So like one of the reason that you see a heightened level of education from Fee, from Craig, anybody who's familiar with Niko's work in the past, you'll notice that it seems to be very, very specific, things that most people would not know. But that's because these people are active in their communities, doing the work necessary for us not to have to rely on federal elections for us to see change at the local levels. People, and I encourage you all, of course, to do the same. And if you want to take someone's advice on an issue, maybe you should ask yourself, well, is this person giving me, why are they trying to be an authority on who I should and should not be voting for, unless they've been in the trenches talking to people, figuring out what's going on in their local communities, going to these national level events. Y'all know that we're going to the Democratic National Convention in California, for example, as activists and as journalists. Me, activist first. I'm acting a fool. Craig will probably be the reporter getting all the interviews. Because I don't want to get kicked out too early. But that's why Fee is so fantastic, and that's why Pasta is so fantastic. Because they're activists first. They're activists by nature, and they saw they were just so passionate about the issues that they felt like they had to speak about them. So that's why she's so knowledgeable on this stuff. So the last thing that I want to talk about that Fee says, Levin has spent his career directing, lobbying for grants, financing favorable legislation on behalf of companies that specialize in development of fossil fuel-based technologies, i.e., natural gas, microturbines, hydrogen fuel cells, carbon, and clean coal. And I can't find her tweet. But basically, I want to say it's for fuel. Hold on. She said she had another tweet up here where basically she was talking about the fact that Mike Levin used to work for Fuel Cell. Is that what they're called, right? Fuel Cell? Yeah. They used to work for Fuel Cell. He's like the director of government affairs or something like that. Still. And they use fracking to supply the cells. Interesting. But maybe am I being misleading again? So let's look at the tweet. Who is she complimenting? Who is she boosting up in this tweet? Well, Bernie Sanders' name is in there. That's good. I'm glad that Bernie is signing on to this legislation because it is a step in the right direction, I guess. Oh man, Kamala Harris, Kirsten Gillibrand, really? So you don't mind boosting up this legislation that 3 presidential candidates are a part of? 3 presidential candidates are a part of that legislation. And all of a sudden, she's cool. She's cool with boosting them. But, you know what's a little frustrating? What's a little bit more frustrating than any of this? So Mike Levin, maybe she didn't know, right? Maybe she didn't know that Mike Levin was an anti-climate change lobbyist. That's why I call those guys the fossil fuel lobbyists. Anti-climate change lobbyist for his entire career. This is actually a key issue while he was running for office. Fiorella and Craig told me before we got on here. But it gets worse. The tweet itself. Fun fact. The Green New Deal is a resolution, aka an overarching policy framework, not a bill. So if you're curious about what the world would be like with the Green New Deal, might look like Mike Levin's zero emissions vehicle bill as a great example. Excuse me. Hold up. Hold up, y'all. And I hope I didn't miss any super chats, y'all. If I missed some super chats, I apologize. Oh man, okay, I didn't miss any. Okay, sorry. Just want to make sure. I'm good. Okay, I ain't miss any. Just want to make sure I got everybody. Because before I'm about to go in. This woman said, fun fact, the Green New Deal is not a resolution, aka y'all, I've done pretty extensive videos covering the OFF Act. I specifically did a video where I said the Green New Deal is in fact not a bill. It is by definition a resolution, and therefore it is by definition incomplete. Even for a resolution, it is incomplete. But I said, let's even give her that she did her best, right? It is by definition a resolution. So there should be no conflict of interest while working in tandem with Tulsi Gabbard's OFF Act. I said this, right? How many times have I said this? How many times have I said this? How many people call me a troll? Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Because I said this. Green New Deal is a resolution, aka overarching policy framework. It is a step towards that direction, but it is by definition not a bill. Therefore, by definition, is not actionable. It is not a detailed policy. So there should be no problem working with Tulsi on the OFF Act. I said this, correct? I'm pretty sure I did. Okay. But whenever I said, so therefore AOC should have zero problem pushing the OFF Act, there should have been no pushback, because now I'm not the one telling you the resolution is an overarching policy framework and not a bill. AOC is telling you it's a resolution. It's a resolution and not a bill. It's a resolution and not a bill. And yet, she campaigned on the OFF Act. She campaigned on the OFF Act. She campaigned on the OFF Act. Hasn't mentioned it once. Hasn't mentioned it once since talking about the Green New Deal. Traveling around the country and hasn't mentioned it once. Walking around with Bernie, hasn't mentioned it once. Hasn't called Tulsi's phone, hasn't tagged Tulsi in a tweet, hasn't sent Tulsi an email. But you got the nerve to boost legislation that includes not one, not two, but 3 presidential candidates, a fracking lobbyist. Really? And it's, oh, we're going to get cars off of gas by 2040. How fucking, oh my gosh, how aggressive of you. By 2040? We could have electric cars right now. And this clearly, in my opinion, looks like the fuel cells, at least according to Fiorella, which she always does her research, and I'm going to take her word for it. The fuel cells, if what Fee says is true, require fracking to be a thing still. In other words, fracking would probably increase exponentially under this legislation. You understand this? Because if Mike Levin, Kamala Harris, and Gillibrand are allowed to push legislation such as this, if it gets passed, and she tweeted this out to help galvanize people behind this bullshit piece of legislation, I'm going to be heated. Because that means the Republicans need to pass it. And if the Republicans are teaming up with Kamala, Kirsten Gillibrand, and Mike Levin, and they're all allowed to pass this legislation, that means AOC played us for fools once again while pretending that the most actionable, the most aggressive, and the most comprehensive climate change legislation, which includes this particular effort to get cars off of fossil fuels, the motherfucker, god damn it, off Fossil Fuels Act. Off Fossil Fuels Act. Literally, the name of the legislation is supposedly what this shit, but zero emissions. No, I know how the game goes. There's a reason they say zero emissions. Not zero fossil fuels. Not zero oil. Not zero fracking. Zero emissions. But I'm an asshole. But I'm divisive. You gon', oh my God. Whew, Jesus. Sweet baby Jesus. Calm me down. Calm me down. Okay, we good. Y'all. Why would she be promoting legislation that these companies who donate dollars to the likes of Kamala and Gillibrand, and especially Levin, we know for a fact that is going to be Trojan horse legislation. We know for a fact that people, senators, legislators like these will name legislation one thing, and we know it does more harm than good. It does not actually achieve the goal that it is supposedly claiming to achieve in the title. What's crazy to me is like I've been saying, literally, people, whoever's in the comment section, please vouch. How long have I been saying, well, if the Green New Deal is what it's supposed to be, which is just a resolution, why aren't you talking about the AOC Act? That's one of the ways to make sure the Green New Deal gets done and it makes you look good, actually. You are in the House of Representatives with Tulsi. You know the AOC Act exists. You know it's about to be reintroduced. You knew it was introduced before. You campaigned on it. And all of a sudden, we're promoting legislation from Kamala Harris and Kirsten Gillibrand. We're promoting legislation from Kamala Harris and Kirsten Gillibrand. Manny, will Tulsi reintroduce the AOC Act soon? Yes. She's supposed to be doing it soon, actually. That's where her policy advisor told me that it should be towards the end of this month that she should be introducing it. My understanding is because she's basically going to be on the West Coast for the majority of this month, that she just wouldn't have the time because she's going to be at the California Democratic Convention, because obviously California's in the first Super Tuesday now, so it's imperative that she does well there. For everybody's sake, Mr. Broken Ass, because she is a tool, controlled opposition. You know what's sad? It's beginning to look like that, and it's sad that there are people who think that this is bashing. Is this bashing AOC? Have I said one lie? Have I said one non-factual statement? Is it a resolution? Has she talked about the AOC Act? Has the AOC Act been endorsed by over 400 environmentalists and climate change legislators? How many organizations? How many climate change and environmental organizations do you think endorse this Zero Emissions Vehicle Act? How many? I haven't maligned her character. I haven't insulted her appearance. I haven't said anything that is not factually true. But if you want to know my opinion, if you want me to deviate from fact a little bit, I'm going to tell you my opinion. It's clear that AOC is more concerned about being president one day. And she sees Tulsi Gabbard as an immediate threat. Not only that, she sees Tulsi Gabbard because AOC is an icon in brand and name only. Hasn't done a damn thing. The Green New Deal is cute. It's cute. That's what it is. When you want to compare